Fabio Wardley has just stopped Joseph Parker in the 11th round of their fight. Let's talk about it. Sorry I look a bit dishevelled. I've literally just got back from the O2 Arena. My voice is gone. I'm wearing someone's pint on my head and on my back, and I am absolutely shocked. When we were going into that 11th round, I had my scorecard, I'd say 6-5 to Joseph Parker. I thought Fabio Wardley started well. I thought Joseph Parker took over the middle part of that fight. And then the 9th and 10th rounds, Fabio Wardley was starting to make his way back again. I knew that Joseph Parker would be the better mover. I knew he would probably outpoint Fabio Wardley, landing the better punches and being able to turn them into combinations. And he did do that. His left hand was doing a lot of work, specifically throwing jabs, turning the jabs into hooks, doubling up on the hooks, turning it back into a jab, and then finishing it off with that right hand. But what Fabio Wardley had that Joseph Parker didn't was the ability to make you stumble. Yes, Fabio Wardley was caught a lot. He did look tired at points, but he ate those punches for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're in the latter half of that 10th round, and Fabio Wardley lands a massive shot. I think it was an uppercut. And the uppercut is what I was calling for all night. People in the crowd around me were probably getting sick of it because I noticed immediately that when Parker would throw a combination, he'd dip his head down into it. So I was screaming from my seat in the O2, uppercut, uppercut. And as we were going into the 9th round, you could tell he was starting to practice it, that little corkscrew slip and up, either to the left or to the right. But then it was in the 10th where he finally landed it and Parker was stunned, but then he was saved by the bell. So we start the 11th round, we go back out. He lands a big shot again. I don't quite remember which one it was. But then Parker was stumbled, he was against the ropes, and I saw the clock and he still had like a minute to go. So I said, right, this could be it. And clearly Fabio Wardley saw that too. So he was throwing hell for leather as much as he could, as fast as he could. You could see he was exhausted, slowing down, but he was still throwing absolutely everything you had. It was absolutely insane. The O2 Arena was shaking, pints being thrown everywhere, Fabio Wardley chants echoing throughout, and then the ref steps in. So at the time, I didn't think too much about this stoppage. I was just shocked. I was jumping up and down because I won one of my bets, 55 quid in the bank. Yes, it's not much, but I'm a university student. 55 quid is a week's worth of shopping. So I was very happy. So we're all celebrating, we're all very shocked. We're processing in our heads that Fabio Wardley is going to fight USYK next. And then Ade Oladipo gets in the ring, starts doing the interviews, and then he asks Fabio, what do you make of that stoppage? And that's when I kind of thought, was that an early stoppage? And from what I've seen online, obviously I've just got back to my place. I've looked through Twitter for 5 seconds, and it is seeming a bit mixed. People are calling that an early stoppage. I saw specifically Ariel Helwani and Wade Plem calling it an early stoppage. And when I come to think of it, when I saw that stoppage, as I mentioned, my initial reaction, my initial emotional reaction was shock. And that could have just been because Fabio was behind on the cards and he came back. But I do think that my reaction of shock, it wasn't a, oh my God, Fabio's done it. It was, oh my God, the ref called it. So it's going to sit with me for a little bit. I'm going to watch it back. But my initial reaction was that Joseph Parker was very clearly hurt. He definitely was. He was stumbling, he wasn't throwing anything back at that point anymore. And as well, if this were a lower level fight where a belt wasn't on the line, I would not have had a problem with that stoppage. I've seen fights get stopped for way less in the past, and we will see fights stopped for way less in the future. However, when there's a world title on the line, yes, it's an interim championship, but it's a world title on the line. It's a chance to fight the pound for pound number one, Alexander Usyk. You kind of want to see someone get dropped and have the opportunity to get back up before the controller is taken from their hands and the referee stops it. But I do not want that for a second to take away from what Fabio Wardley has accomplished tonight. With 0 amateur experience, a handful of white-collar bouts, and 21 professional bouts, he's scored himself an opportunity for all the marbles against Alexander Usyk. And that is some achievement. As some of you may have seen in my prediction video, I am a big fan of Fabio Wardley. I'm gutted for Joseph Parker, who I'm also very fond of. But tonight belongs to Fabio Wardley. And whether you think it's an early stoppage or not, let's acknowledge the fact that he has beaten a former world champion who we all said was on an absolutely amazing run, now former WBO interim heavyweight champion who we all wanted to fight Usyk immediately, and Wardley's taken him out. It doesn't matter that he was behind on the scorecards. All that matters is the outcome of the fight, and Wardley's done that. So we need to give him his credit now. He's up there, and he deserves this title shot. Huge congrats to Fabio Wardley. And that's about my reaction to the fight. I'm so happy I got to go to the O2 again and see a show like that. Disappointing undercard, I will say, but all worth it for that main event. What a fight. Back and forth. Loved every second of it. And yes, I'm sorry I've been absent. University's been crazy, getting to grips with everything again. The uploads will be back soon. I do want to talk about Eubank Ben too. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the fight as much as I did. In a bit.